It ain't good in Detroit today, Monday, the day after the showdown with the Seahawks. And let me tell you about it. It's not just bad, it's historically bad. We're going to talk about it all in today's Lions Talk Live. Happy Monday, everybody. It is the day after the day, and let me tell you, we need to get into today's Lions Talk Live. I'm your host, Dan Thornton, and we're going to be going into what is troubling a historically bad defense in Motown. Aarron Glenn, I'm sure you all talked about it yesterday after the game, and we're going to dive into it, I'm sure, all week long. Aarron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, is going to be under a lot of heat, and rightly so. He's missing a lot of things here with the Lions. The defense, which was supposed to be an upgrade from last season's evolution, is letting the team down and letting them down bad. Didn't even force the Seattle Seahawks into a single punt. The Seahawks, as I'm sure we all know, came in averaging 15 points a game. And man, oh man, they put up 41. I get the offense gave up a pick six, and that led to the 48 points, but still giving up 41, not so good. So Glenn, I think he's at the point right now where, he's had some familiarity doing some things with the D. He's been good at it, but teams are now counter-punching him, finding those tendencies, hitting us on third and long with, draw sweeps, outside stretches, play action, fakes, going out to the flats on the tight end, coming across the backside of the line and getting out into the flats. And yesterday, using this example alone, the Seahawks ran the same play action bootleg to the tight end on the right side 8 times. We stopped it once. That's it. They did it early, they did it often, and because our defense didn't make adjustments to it, they continued to run it over and over again. I think Glenn and the entire coaching staff are going to have to figure out ways to give second and third looks to teams to force them into a half-second delay. What's that mean? Teams know what to go. Teams know where to go with the ball, especially quarterbacks. They're going to go and hit their first reads against us the majority of the time. We're not causing that half-second delay where I got to come off read one and go to the second or third read in a receiver's route or to the secondary targets. So why this year, with seemingly a few better players, more familiarity with Glenn's defense, is the defense struggling to perform at the same pace even of a year ago, let alone improve? And I think we need to all consider this. Last year, Glenn came in, threw a bunch of new schemes at opposing coaches, threw some new ideas and principles. But like most coaches, the offseason is about preparation. So many teams that we're going to face this year look back on 2021, said, what are Glenn's tendencies? What does he like to call? What does he like to run? What formations will he give us based on what they could see from last year? Now add in the first 3 games of the season, and most teams are going to have a ton of tape on what Aarron Glenn's liking to do. Glenn had a lot of success last year, which might have actually been his worst enemy. Most coaches, when they're younger, and let's face it, we have a very young coaching staff, have success with something and then stick with it. They fail to evolve, at least initially. So with that being said, I think we need to, as fans, kind of dive in and find out, why is the defense giving up so many points? I'm going to throw out some thoughts and give you my opinion, somebody who's coached at various different levels across the planet for over 30 years. I believe last year, Aarron Glenn came in and did a phenomenal job making the defense somewhat relevant for the Lions. He took over a handful of players that really had no business being on the field, used a bunch of free agent players as well, and took over the remains of Matt Patricia's defense and turned it into a real pleasant surprise going out through the season. The defense actually kept the Lions in the games throughout the year, where the offense, at least the first 10 games, was fairly stagnant, struggled to score, let alone move the ball. It's clear the Lions have offensive talent all over, from running back, offensive line, receivers, even the tight ends outside of TJ Hockenson. So here's my question. If I'm a general manager and I suspected that this team was going to be somewhat talented on offense, why would I trade up to get the number 12 pick and then use that on offense? TJ Hockenson yesterday had a breakout career day getting the most receiving yards ever, most catches in game, etc., throughout his illustrious career. And he did it in part because other players were now missing from the offense. It freed him up for more targets from Goff. So here's my thought. When Jameson Williams hits the field, somebody else's production, a couple of people's production, are going to go down. The other way to look at it would be simply this. The defense, even though it's not horribly talented, has regressed. Now, we can say it's all on the players, but here's a counter thought to that. Last year, we had an offense that was going nowhere. Until basically the seven games remaining in the schedule, it looked like we're flat. Goff looked horrible. The receivers looked non-existent. We did virtually nothing throughout most games. The defense actually kept us in. A switching coordinator, and now we caught teams off balance. They didn't know what to expect. They didn't have film. And because of it, not just the offense, but Goff went and rose up the ranks. If you look at just the last 6 games of last season, Goff actually ranked as the number 4 quarterback in the NFL, and our offense was number 7. Conversely, this year, while they're still evolving as an offense, still catching teams off guard because they don't have game tape to go by, they don't know the tendencies yet of Ben Johnson nor the offense. We have the number 1 offense in the league and an offense that's scored more points than any other team in 102 seasons in the NFL during the first 4 games of the season. Conversely, the defense, who's been very studied, very picked apart, and very orchestrated how we're going to get attacked by other teams, has given up the most points in the NFL during that same 102 years. So that's going to wrap it up for today's version of Lions Talk Live. I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day, jumping into the channel. If you can, leave some comments below. What do you think the Lions need to do in the upcoming weeks? What do we need to do going into the bye? What are your goals for the team the remainder of the season? Do you think the offense is to blame? Do you think the defense is to blame? Whatever it is, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And pretty please, if you will, like, comment, subscribe, maybe share the video around too. Let somebody know what you think of Lions Talk Live.